everyone. It's Michelle Caruana from Play Cafe Academy and Profitable Play. And I'm so excited for today's video because I'm going to talk about everything that went into my son's 6th birthday, including 5 feet of snow and all sorts of chaos. But I wanted to quickly let you know that I'm going to be talking a lot about what I look for in a party facility, specifically as a mom whose child is autistic. So a lot of you guys know that my 6-year-old son, or soon to be 6-year-old son, Silas, has autism. So that definitely creates a specific set of needs and preferences that we like to see in a party facility. So I'm going to talk about the 5 main things I look for when choosing a party facility and some things that stood out specifically to me about this venue that we absolutely loved. This is like our 4th or 5th birthday party at this venue, so we obviously love it. But again, before I get started with today's video, I wanted to let you know that if you're interested in learning more about how you can better accommodate autistic adults and children, I did a deep dive about this on my podcast, and I have a 5-part episode series all about this topic, and I got such great feedback on it. So again, I'm going to go over this facility specifically and what I look for, but on that podcast, again, I take a much deeper look at it, and I talk about not just my own experience, but how you can better accommodate the autistic community as a whole. So that required a lot more than a simple YouTube video. So again, I'm going to link to that podcast episode series in the video description. I would love if you checked it out and let me know what you think of it. All right, without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, so I can't even believe that I'm sitting here making this video. I'm going to walk through all the prep for my son's birthday party, but we got 5 feet of snow in Buffalo, New York yesterday, and it shouldn't surprise me, but it still does, that indoor playgrounds, businesses just don't close in Western New York, even with 5 feet of snow and travel advisories and all that good stuff. I'm going to show some pictures of what it looked like at our house yesterday, and it's not that much better today. So we weren't really able to reschedule it. They have very limited availability just because of the time of year and the holidays. So we're just going to, hopefully get there safely. We're going to have the best party possible. A lot of kids already said that they weren't going to be able to come. Totally understandable, but we're still going to try to have a great time. And I have reviewed this party venue before because we also had my older son's birthday party here last year. So you've already seen clips of this venue, but I'm going to share some clips anyways. And in this particular video, I actually want to talk about why I love this particular facility for my 6-year-old who has autism. And I'm going to go through the things that I love about this facility for that specifically. And I'm also going to talk about, after the party wraps up, I'm going to talk about things I do as a parent to prepare in advance, more so than I need to with my older son. I'm going to talk about things I look for in a venue and ways that you can really better accommodate autistic children and their families at your indoor playground or play cafe party facility. So that's going to be kind of the gear this video is going to take. Again, that's going to be after I share some clips of the party because it didn't happen yet. Sorry, the sun is going so crazy in the background, but it's full like party prep central downstairs. So we have cupcakes downstairs. It was such a pain to get them fulfilled and actually made just because of the snowstorm, which again, understandable. But I got these cute little watercolor dinosaur favor boxes from Amazon. Everything we're doing this year is like watercolor themed because again, this is my son's 4th dinosaur party. So we've kind of done all of the other themes. We haven't done watercolor dinosaurs yet. So they're all different colors. I absolutely love these boxes. They're a little bit smaller than I expected, but oh well. So just to give you a little peek of what's inside, I made these little dinosaur Hershey bars. They're just regular Hershey bars underneath. Again, sorry, I know the lighting's really terrible. I got these little finger dinosaur puppets because they are my son's favorite thing. I got dinosaur puppets. None of his classmates were actually able to come to this party, but I bought these because they're obviously great for kids with sensory issues or autism. So I love these little T-Rex puppets, also on Amazon. And they're the perfect size and they're a little keychain. And then I got some sticker sheets here. So I love the little puffy stickers just because a lot of kids that have autism struggle with fine motor skills, my son included sometimes. So I love these puffy stickers because they're very easy to peel and stick independently with their little hands. And then I also got these cute little T-Rex birthday puzzles from Target. These ones were not able to fit in the box, unfortunately, but I'm gonna bring them and give them out anyways. And then I got this cute little T-Rex balloon from Target. This one is just one of those ones that comes with a little straw and you inflate it with air. It doesn't need helium. I ordered balloons from the supermarket, but they're not fulfilling any non-essential orders today. So we don't have any balloons, but that's okay. And then I ordered these watercolor dinosaur table covers from Amazon. I absolutely love this like watercolor theme. And I got 4 of them because if you remember from my last video about this venue, there's so many more tables than I expected. So I got a 4-pack, and I always like to take the table covers specifically out of the wrapper before we get to the party because it saves a lot of time. And a lot of these table covers, especially these thicker plastic ones, they have a really strong like chemical smell to them. So I like to take them out and let them breathe a little bit before we put them in the party room, because in a small confined space, that chemical smell just can kind of get overwhelming and it can overload kids' sensories, and it's just one of those things that I've learned to do as a party planner. And then that's pretty much all the prep that we did. Again, we only have a few kids coming, mostly family, but we're still really excited. And again, I'm gonna share some clips for the birthday party. And then afterwards, I'm gonna talk about what I look for as a mom of an autistic child when I'm looking at birthday party venues. And I'm gonna talk about some things that we absolutely love about this facility. And hopefully we're gonna have a great time. Silas is gonna have fun, again, playing with his friends, getting out of the house because we've obviously been snowed in. But again, it's absolutely crazy that we're still doing this party, but I'm really excited, and I will see you guys in a little bit. All right, so here is facing the party room. I love that there's a window so that it's not noisy, but you can still see the entire play area when you're in the party room. So the entrance is all the way up there. You have to walk all the way to the back of the facility and then up the stairs to get to the party room. They have 3 different party rooms or multi-use rooms. Again, they're up the stairs. This is what each party room looks like on the inside. So as you can see, there's benches for the kids to sit down. There's plenty of room for cakes, cupcakes, pizza. They have a lot of storage and hooks for coats and shoes and things like that. I forgot to show you guys my little dinosaur cupcake pics earlier, but this is what they look like on. I didn't get a cupcake holder or anything fancy because, again, all my deliveries were delayed, but it's okay. And then there's a fridge. They provide all of these water bottles for us, and there's a freezer in case we wanted to bring ice cream, which we didn't. Again, here's what my dinosaur table covers look like. That table back there with the T-Rex balloon is where the pizza goes. I love that they had garbage, recycling, hand sanitizer, all that stuff in the party room. And again, it overlooks the entire facility, which is really nice. And we were the only party going on at this particular time, which was also really nice. This is what the actual play area looks like. That's my older son and his friend running around. And I love that they have staff members standing there to help keep everybody safe and playing by the rules, but they're not overbearing. They're just kind of there to supervise, which is really nice. It felt very flexible, and it felt like the kids had a lot of freedom to kind of use the space as they wished. This is a better view of everything that you can do in the facility. It is such a cool place. My son loved all of the balancing activities. That's one of our little friends using the balance beam. So I love that these activities are all great and fun, but they also help with their development and skills. This is my son's 9-year-old cousin doing some really cool moves. Again, even the adults kind of got up there. And what I love about this space is there's so many great sensory activities. So Silas loves jumping. He loves jumping onto the crash pad. He loves rocking, swinging, jumping, anything like that. He's definitely a sensory seeker, and there were so many different ways to play. I swear we've been to this facility dozens of times, and every single time he finds something new, some new way to, again, swing or sway or rock or jump, something new to do. So it was really fun, and I love that they let Maria, our teenage cousin, really help him and be as hands-on as possible throughout the entire experience. And again, just one more way to kind of slide and fall and crash. Silas couldn't have loved this place anymore. There was also a really cool rope swing that the older kids really loved. They spent so much time over there. And then again, another balance activity that is really good for his development. So I really like this. More swinging and swaying, great for those sensory seeking autistic kids, but also all kids.
All right, so they just ate some pizza. Silas didn't like the light off, so it was so nice to have an attendant in room to kind of flick that light back on. Then we sang happy birthday, had some cupcakes, and then he opened his presents. And again, it was 1 hour of playtime, 1 hour of cake, pizza, presents, things like that. And then the party was over.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed those clips, and I shared a lot of what I absolutely love about this particular facility, both for my older son who is neurotypical and for my son who is on the autism spectrum. But I kind of wanted to end this video with a summary of exactly what I love about this facility for my autistic son. Because as a parent, I kind of have this like mental checklist in my mind when I'm searching for a venue of things that absolutely need to be included and accommodated. And I'm hoping this will shed some light on kind of the thought process of a parent of an autistic child. And obviously, with the really big caveat that everybody is different, even kids that both have autism are typically going to have very different preferences, different behaviors, different needs. So, again, this is through my specific lens, but hopefully, this gives you a little bit of perspective, especially if you don't have a child with autism. So, this is kind of my thought process when I decided to book this facility for like the fourth time, I think. So, number one, I really wanted it to be gross motor focused. So, Silas has always loved imaginative play, especially when he was a toddler. But as he's gotten older, he's really needed that gross motor activity. He needs big open spaces to run, he needs things to climb and jump. And he is definitely a sensory seeker. So, you've probably heard the terms sensory seeking and sensory avoidant, especially in the context of autism. And Silas definitely falls on the sensory seeking side. So he is, a little mini adrenaline junkie. He loves trampolines. He loves, again, jumping off of things, hanging off of things, as you saw in the clips. So I really needed something that was big and open and gross motor focused because I just know he would have a better experience as opposed to something that was a little bit more imaginative. But again, when he was a little bit younger, he did really like that imaginative play. And then number two, and this was an absolute must for me, and I know is a must for many other parents, is that there needed to be an option to rent out the entire play area and have private access to it. So, yes, we did pay about $150 extra to have the play area completely to ourselves, to our party and our party guests, but it was well worth it. And we absolutely needed that option because a lot of kids with autism, Silas included, is a little bit unpredictable at times. He has a little bit more difficulty following the rules. He really responds to other people's noises and behaviors more so than a typical child would. So it was really, really important to me in order to have the best possible experience for him and for everybody else. I really wanted to remove all of those outside factors and make sure that I knew everyone that was going to be there. I knew that every other child and parent that was going to be there knew about Silas, was educated about autism and things like that. Because a couple years ago, we didn't go for the private play option and it was very chaotic. It was very noisy. Silas was having a really hard time, again, following the rules. And I found that when these types of facilities are open to the public or have multiple parties, they're definitely a little bit stricter. They're definitely a little bit more cognizant of the rules. And while I would never, fault a facility for trying to keep all of their patrons safe, I definitely find that they're more understanding and a little bit more flexible when it is a private party and everybody knows everybody. So I really needed that private play option again to remove all outside factors because a lousy child, a child that might not understand autism, any of those things could completely derail the party, could completely, cause Silas to have a tantrum or, a bad time. And again, for me, because this was such a big priority, I was very glad to pay the extra $150 to have the private party. Now, I talked about this in the last video I did about this party, or excuse me, this facility. What I love is that you have 100% private use of the play area, but while you're playing, they have another party set up in one of their three party rooms and they're eating. So it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. So even though there's technically two parties going on at the same time, so as soon as we left the play area, we went to the party room and then immediately another party went and played. So technically there was two parties going on in the facility at the same time. But the big difference is that it is 100% private use of the room and 100% private use of the party room, and then 100% private use of the party. So even though there are multiple parties on the premises, it feels completely private. And honestly, we really didn't see anybody else from the other party. So this was ideal, exactly what we wanted. The party could not have gone any better, as you saw on the clips. And then number three, this one was more of like a wish list item, but I really wanted adults to be able to participate, and not necessarily adults as in like parents, but older children. So as you saw in the clips, one of Silas's absolute favorite people in the entire world is his older cousin, Maria, who's a teenager. And a lot of facilities won't allow her to participate, won't allow her to help him. Even if she's not actively using the play equipment, they really discourage older siblings or older cousins in this case from being on the floor whatsoever. And I really wanted the older kids to be included, the cousins. I knew that Silas would really want to have her by his side the entire time, not just to, have fun with, but also to help him follow the rules, to help keep him safe, all that good stuff. So I really wanted the older kids and the adults to be able to be on the floor actively participating because, again, most facilities, I would say for the older kids, don't allow that. So that was something that was important to me. And then number four, I kind of alluded to this already, but I loved that their party room is completely separate from the play area. So as you saw in the clip, you have to walk up the stairs, go into a separate room, and then they close the door so that the play area is again out of sight, out of mind. Because one of the most difficult things about having a child with autism is transitioning from a preferred activity to maybe a non-preferred activity, because Silas really isn't that big of an eater. He doesn't get excited by pizza or anything like that. So sometimes it can be difficult to get him to do this non-preferred activity if the preferred activity, which in this case is playing, is too close in proximity or, in too much of eyesight or, earshot, I guess you would say. So I really liked that the party room had a closed door so that he couldn't, escape or anything like that. And I love that it was in a completely separate area. So again, out of sight, out of mind. And the transition went absolutely perfectly. So again, I'm so thankful that they had that separate party room, because I remember back from the days when I owned my indoor playground before selling, I remember it was very difficult for the children a lot of times to hear that the play area was closed. And we did have a bit more of an open format, so kids could play all the way up until the last half hour of the party. So there really wasn't that long of a time where the play area was closed. For this facility, it was 1 hour of playtime, 1 hour of eating cupcakes, presents, things like that. So it was quite a bit of time where we were not allowed to access the play area. So again, having it out of sight, out of mind with a closed door was very, very, very helpful to us. And then finally, number five, I love that they handled all of the cleanup. So they cleared all the plates, they helped bring all of our presents to the car, they took all of our leftovers to the car. And it was just so nice, again, to have such an easy transition from the end of the party to the car. Silas stayed completely happy and cheerful the entire time. Whereas if we had to stay, like if we rented like a lodge or something like that, where we were responsible for cleaning everything up and all that stuff, it probably would have led to a meltdown, being overtired, stimulated, and it probably would have just been a lot more difficult to leave the party if we had to stay there and clean ourselves. So it was so nice to be able to give Silas a cupcake, give him his presents, and say, all right, we're out of here. Let's go home. Let's have some rest. So it was really nice that they handled all of that. And they also took the payment for the party ahead of time, which was really, really helpful. They did give us the option to pay at the end, but we just wanted to take care of everything in advance. We tipped in cash at the end, but it was really nice to have that completely taken care of so that we could really focus on making sure that Silas had the best day possible. So again, just to summarize, the 5 things that I really looked for as a mom of a child with autism in a birthday party venue was: number 1, gross motor focused; number 2, that we had the option to have private use of the play area; number 3, the adults and older children were able to participate on the floor; number 4, that they had a separate party area where we ate and did presents; and then number 5, that they handled all of the cleanup so that we could easily transition away from the party and back to home seamlessly. So I absolutely cannot recommend this facility enough. Again, whether you have a child on the autism spectrum or have a neurotypical child, can't recommend it enough. Thank you, Buffalo Warrior Factory, for another amazing party. And again, I hope this video was really helpful to you in shedding some light on the perspective of, again, a mom who has a child with autism. So I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions or comments or anything you want to see more of or anything like that, please feel free to go to um, the video description. All of my links are there. You can comment. I always respond with questions. And then also, I do have an entire podcast series on how to better accommodate kids with autism on my podcast. So I'm also going to link that below if you would like a really deep dive on exactly how you can best accommodate adults and children with autism. All right, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you guys next week.